That is the topic of this video. What is game theory for growth? Game theory for growth is the high-level strategy of using game theory for the purpose of growing your business or your financial interests, whatever those might happen to be. So what is game theory, right? Game theory is the concept that you can know all the parameters, all the knowable parameters of a particular game. And that game can be a literal game, or it can be a proverbial game, like a type of business, or a type of enterprise, or a type of independent work that you do. Right? You could be a trader, you could be a marketer, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be whatever it might happen to be. You're creating some kind of an enterprise, or you're working in some kind of an enterprise, and the idea is you want to see growth. You want to see the business getting bigger. You want to be able to scale up. You want to be able to play out all the options and variables and possibilities, so that you know how the model works inside and out, backwards and forwards, upside down, side to side. Right? You want to be able to know what are the possibilities that could happen in any contingency, no matter how absurd it might be, how rare it might be, how common it might be, etc. Now, of course, there are going to be some ad nauseum impossibilities, where you can literally go down a rabbit hole forever and you'll never get to the bottom of it, like trying to get to the end of the number pi, right, with decimals, right? You want to get to the number pi without decimals, it's real easy. It's 22/7, right? That's an exact number, right? There's your pi right there, 22/7, right? But if you want a number with decimals, it's infinite, right? You just keep going and on and on and on. So there are going to be possibilities like that, which happen in some game theory as well, where the possibilities may just continually pile on and on and on because of the nature of the game, at which point you need to make a calculated decision and say, okay, beneath a certain point or above a certain point, we're not going to bother to calculate those extremes, because the probability of something statistically beating 99.99999999999999999 times is so infinitesimally small that there aren't even that many human beings on the planet, and so it's just not likely to happen. Nevertheless, there will be some cases where you might want to consider that, where there's a real thing that might actually happen, even though it's incredibly small chance. And so in some cases, businesses might feel the need to do that, and that's fine. But just, don't be a rabbit hole deep sea diver or a rabbit hole diver, where you just keep diving in further and further and further to see how far it can go, because it can go forever with the right or wrong options and permutations that could happen. So so now we've discussed, real briefly, an overview of what game theory is as a concept, and what is growth as a concept, right? Growth is the idea that you can scale up your business, and you can do so in varying ways. If you're doing something online or that involves online for sales and marketing, or marketing and sales, then growth often involves being able to scale up your purchases, being able to scale up your orders, being able to scale up your deliveries, being able to scale up your marketing in order to drive traffic to the funnel, being able to scale up, all the different processes you have to be more automatic, so that you use automated marketing technology. It can be an advanced CRM, it can be systems you build yourself, whatever it might be. Growth is using the various channels to market and to sell in order to drive marketing and sales. And again, what is the difference between marketing and sales? While it's a fine line, and in many organizations is often blurred, in traditional organizations that have a clear division between the marketing and sales departments. The purpose of marketing is to communicate the message of the brand or the product or the service, to make sure that the people in the world that are the target audience know about it, and that they understand the value of it from the marketing messaging. They can relate to it. It has an appeal to them, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, financial, whatever it has some kind of an appeal, right, to them that makes them be more curious and want to learn more and go through the funnel, the marketing funnel, right? And if you know what the marketing funnel is, great. If not, you should watch some of my videos where I talk about it. The purpose of sales is obviously to incorporate sales-based information increasingly through the marketing funnel in order to close the sale at the end of that marketing funnel journey, right? And depending on the product, your marketing funnel might be short, medium, or long, right? Some marketing funnels are, you hit one page and that's where the purchase is done and that's it, right? Others require a second, third, or fourth page of information because they require explanations, and you don't want to put them all on one page if you can prevent it. There are some notable exceptions to that, especially if you're doing your own crowdfunding, not on a crowdfunding platform like Indiegogo or Kickstarter or WeFunder. Although even there, you'll see pretty lengthy pages. But on those platforms, you have those lengthy pages, and then you have the invest form right on that page that lets you invest right on their site. If you're doing your own, then you very often have to work with a broker-dealer who's licensed and registered and capable of providing the service of letting you drive traffic to an investment platform that they operate, and then through the verification process with KYC and all that, people are able to invest, and so they go from your site to their site, and then from there they invest. Now, very often these broker-dealers will create the site for you, right? They'll say, hey, we have a cookie-cutter template, let's run with it. Now, sometimes that's great, sometimes it's not so great. It really depends on the customization that you want, the functionalities that you want, the design that you want. Some broker-dealers give you complete flexibility, some brokers give you less, some brokers give you none, in terms of design and customization, right? It really depends on the broker-dealer. And of course, it depends on if you're doing crowdfunding or if you're doing like a Reg D kind of raise, where there are different sites where only approved, accredited investors are able to actually access the deals and make offers on the deals. And that, of course, will significantly, limit the number of people who can access the information. But of course, it significantly increases the likelihood of conversions, because everyone who's looking at it is by definition an accredited investor, and therefore should have the means to make any reasonable investment you might be seeking. And you can obviously do that. There's sites like CRISP, CRIISP, right? And there's other sites like it, and these are for sites specifically for people looking to run a Reg D investment raise, and so yeah, that's talking about the investment side of it for growth. But again, investments are not growth itself, right? If you borrow funds, that is not a form of growth. That's just a form of having additional funds to begin the actual growth, right? You only see the growth when you actually implement whatever strategies you're going to use. Additional word of mouth, additional social media, additional emails, additional organics, additional paid media like advertising online or on radio or on TV, internet, etc. So all those channels, direct mail, referrals, affiliates, they're all different channels you can use to increase your growth. Right now, if you're looking at low-cost ways to increase your growth, the best way that's proven is something that takes a bit longer, yields better ROI because it's all profit, beyond the initial relatively negligible investment, and that's organic, right? And social media that's not paid, right? Regular social media. Social media and organics, or SEO, both of those are sometimes the same, sometimes different, but search engine optimization and organic, marketing, using web blogs, using any kind of system online where you're organically building a presence, a profile, earning, a higher reputation for that page because you improve, have high quality on the page. It answers the questions in a relevant way. It can be pulled up in things like Google Knowledge Base, so you can provide answers directly in the Google search results without people having to even visit your page. They might just see that the answer comes from you, which gives you more authority, and that'll help you rank that page as well, so more people will visit it. All right, those are all methods you can use for high ROI, low investment, strategies for growth. Now, of course, it's relative, because if you want one person to do your SEO, your organics on social and organic channels, okay, that's one way to do it. But you're going to get a limited amount of output if you have just one person. If you want to scale it up, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 people, you can do that too. And at the same time, again, because those people are not using a paid channel, right? They're not spending money on ads. They're just, if anything, there might be some people who are using those channels and buying links. That's especially popular in like the gaming industry, right? Where they pay a lot of money for links, especially in certain countries. The Scandinavian countries are very popular for example, online gaming sites, right? Sports betting and all that kind of stuff. Lotteries or whatever they have. And they will very often, look for people. The people marketing those brands and products and services will very often look to place links on sites in Norway or Sweden or Finland and Denmark, and for reasons that are well known. So that's one kind of scaling for growth is organic. And like I said, in some cases you do pay for the links. It's usually a one-time payment or a monthly payment, and compared to advertising, is usually extremely cheap. Costs are practically negligible, even if you have to pay for some links. Overall, the ROI is much better. It's usually direct to profit and it's long term, because as long as your page remains in the top search results, then you can still count on getting more traffic, as long as people are still using sites like Google and Yahoo or whatever to search, right? And they still are. Yes, I know there's ChatGPT and everything else, and the more AI becomes sophisticated, the more people will use those kind of tools for their search, right? But at the moment, it's about anywhere from like 15 to 25%, roughly 20% of everything that ChatGPT and Gemini tell you is incorrect, and on purpose, right? Those machines are not being truthful because they're mimicking human behavior, so they're not always truthful. For now, search remains a very important part of the mosaic of tools that you would use as a marketer, because you can rely more on search in regular search engines, not necessarily for accuracy, because you can certainly find things that are inaccurate there, but for quicker search, you can find authoritative sites very easily, that are verified sites that have answers in Google, etc. So anyway, I'm going to talk with you guys more about growth, through game theory. I'm going to continue this discussion in another following video. Thanks, and happy marketing.